welcome back on the mat. So in your seated position, you can find a nice straight spine by imagining that you're sitting up against the wall. And as you get length in your spine, let's bring chin down slightly towards the chest, not all the way, just to first lengthen in the neck, and then simply just lifting the chin slightly so that it's parallel to the floor. And let's get onto all fours. So positioning hands below the shoulders, get the knees hip distance and make big circles clockwise. So just move a bit of weight back and then shoulders over the fingers and back. And as you shift weight forwards, feel that the fingertips are pushing into the floor even more. We use our fingers as if they are toes when we bear weight on the hands. Now take it over to the opposite side, changing the rotation and just feeling into the wrists, into the shoulders. Just keep the breath nice and deep. I'm obviously talking, so I'm not going to be able to be the best example. Now let's bring it back to neutral position. In this neutral position, push out of your shoulders. We call it protraction. And then drop into the shoulders, but keep your arms straight to retract. Pushing out of shoulders and dipping into the shoulders. Keeping your neck long, pushing out of shoulders, so you're not collapsing the head down, and dipping into the shoulders or dropping into the shoulders. Bring it back into a healthy shape, so not entirely protracting and also not dipping into the shoulders. That's the purpose of this exercise apart from strengthening, to sort of feel where your neutral position would be. Same goes with the tailbone. So if it feels like the back is arched slightly, then tuck all the way, almost as if you want to facilitate that cat stretch, but then find a healthy balance in between a tuck of the tailbone and a relaxing or arching in the back. So find that neutral pelvic tilt and straighten your legs. You can look back to make sure the feet are hip distance and you find your first plank position. What a way to start the practice with a bit of a plank hold warm-up. That's going to be about a 1 minute hold. Making use of your Ujjayi pranayama. Pushing through the insides of the hands just as much as you push onto the outer corners of the hands. You don't want more weight just on one area of the hand. Feel that engagement in the core, stabilizing the lower back. And healthy space between the shoulder blades. Now use an exhalation to take your hips up into a downward facing dog. And notice how there's less weight on the shoulders the minute we take the hips up. Think about working chest closer to feet. And the idea is to keep length in your back. If you're very supple in the shoulders, you might tend to arch a bit too much. Then you might want to draw navel to spine and lift the ribs slightly. And bend into knees. Look up. Inhale, feet in between hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms to ceiling. Exhale, hands to prayer. In breath, back bend. Exhale, forward bend, head to shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Planting your hands. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga. In breath, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bending into your knees, look up. In breath, feet between hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, arms to ceiling. Exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale, back bend. Exhale into a forward bend, head to shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Planting your hands and exhale, step or jump back. Lower down, chaturanga. In breath, upward facing dog. Exhale to down dog. Giving the body enough time to warm up properly before we do some of these static holds. Bending into your knees, look up. In-breath, feet between hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, arms to ceiling. Exhale, hands to prayer. This time around, we hold the back bend a little bit longer. So inhale, take it back. Keep breathing. Exhale, forward bend, head to shins. In-breath, halfway. Planting your hands on exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. In-breath, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lower your hips into plank. Shifting weight onto the left hand as you angle the feet. Take your right arm up. Vashisthasana, side plank. The breath is deep. There's subtle engagement in the core. And the idea is to keep the hips nice and high. When we get out of the posture, you're going to move with a lot of control. We're not simply going to bring the hand down. So start to lower. Feel as you lift the balls, the feet back onto the mat. And very slowly bring your hand down. Shifting weight over to the opposite side on the inhale. You take your left arm up. Keeping the hips high. Pushing through the inside of the right hand. Same thing as we lower down. Firstly, lift the heels off the mat and very slowly bring the left hand down. Lower down to a Chaturanga Dandasana. Look forwards and hold. Keep your shoulders away from ears. We're taking some of these postures that we know well and we slow it down. We spend time in them. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just stay in control of all the postures by obeying the breath and not getting the heart rates up all too much. Bend into knees, look up. In-breath, feet between hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, take arms to ceiling. Exhale, hands to prayer. Our next back bend, we hold a little bit longer. You aim to go a little bit deeper. Feel into your back. You know your limits. Inhale, take it up and back. Exhale, forward bend, head to shins. In-breath, halfway lift. Plant your hands, exhale, take it back. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take your right leg to ceiling. Exhale, step right foot between hands, pivot your back foot. Come up into a warrior two. Focal point over the front middle finger. Tailbone is tucked. The back thigh is sort of rotating to the back wall as you open up in the hips. The breath is deep, slow, controlled. You simply hold the posture. The next phase, start to reach to the front wall, keeping the legs exactly the way they are, and hold. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, windmill your hands down. Take your right leg back, don't let the foot touch the mat as you exhale, lower down to a modified chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog, legs still not touching. Exhale into a three-leg down dog. Take a full in-breath in this shape. Exhale, take the right leg to the right side of the studio. Inhale, take it back up. Exhale, squeeze knee into chest and hold. Step your right foot back. Take your hips up. Downward facing dog. In breath, raise your left leg. Exhale, step left foot in between hands. Pivot your back foot. Coming up, warrior two. So you find your warrior two position. Shoulders away from ears. Sinking into the front knee with the back leg actively working in an external rotation sort of motion. And you hold. The next phase will be to reach forwards, hold this shape, and breathe. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, windmill the hands down. As you take the leg back, don't step it onto the floor, simply lower down. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into a three-leg down dog. Take your in-breath and use the exhale to take the leg over to the left. Both arms straight. Inhale, leg goes back up. Exhale, squeeze knee into your chest. And hold. Breathe. It's yoga. It's not sort of fitness hour. It's more about focusing on the breath. Step your leg back, taking your hips up. What I mean by that is you want to keep your heart rate down. Stay in control of each posture. Bending into knees, look up. In breath, feet between hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Back bend, inhalation, take it back and hold. Exhale, forward bend, head to shins. Inhalation, halfway lift. Grip, hold behind the backs of the knees and lift your chest till you get to a 90-degree angle. If you need to bend into the knees, do so. Otherwise, keep them straight, but soft. Keep length in your back. Now, imagine that you're doing a back bend. Start to tilt the bum up, arch in your back. Very subtle, but it makes the posture more intense. Now bring the arms out to the sides, in line with the shoulders. Take a full in-breath. Keep length in your back on exhale. Bring your face closer to the floor. Keep arching in the back. Take a full in-breath. On exhale, bring the face a little bit closer to the floor, keeping length in your spine. Now with an exhale, relax your hands onto the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Planting your hands, exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga. In-breath, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, step right foot in between hands. You can keep the right hand to the outside of the front foot or the inside. Angle your back foot. Take opposite arm up. Side angle pose. Keep length in your spine. And keep the breath consistent. Look down to the floor. Float the right hand off the mat. And don't rest your chest or rib cage onto the upper leg. Rotate more and hold the same posture. Exhale, bring your hands down. Step it back. Lower down chaturanga. In-breath, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, step left foot in between hands. Left hand to the inside or outside of the foot. Outside is going to be a bit more challenging. Taking your right arm up into side angle pose. You can look down to the floor. Get the hand to not touch. Work your rib cage away from the leg and hold. Exhale, bring your hands down. Stepping back into plank. Lower down to chaturanga and hold. You can slightly lift your chin. If it's too much, you'll probably place knees onto the mat and hold that position. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Bend into knees, look up. In-breath, feet between hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, take arms up. Exhale, hands to prayer. We're building on our back extensions. So we'll do another back bend. This time round, we hold it a little bit longer. So you're pushing sternum into the thumbs and you take it back on a nice big inhale and keep breathing. Exhale, forward bend. Use your inhale to slowly just curl up into a standing position. As you come up, place your hands onto your waist. We'll keep left foot on the floor first. On inhale, raise your right leg. You can point or flex. Avoid leaning back and hold. We'll be moving into half moon from here. So with an exhale, swing the leg back, open in the hip, fingertips find the floor as you hold. You can point or flex, take the top arm up to ceiling. So the right hip is pointing up to ceiling. Take a full in-breath. On the exhale, bring the right leg out to the right side. Hold, and then take it back. Now bend into the knee. See if you can find the ankle. If not, then just keep the leg extended. Otherwise, kick into the hand. Lift your knee a little bit more. Let go of the ankle. Straighten your leg. Place your hand back onto your waist. Square off in the hips and use your inhale to swing the leg all the way through, out in front. A bit of quad strengthening. Exhale, bring your leg down. Feet together. We'll do opposite side. Inhale, raise your left leg. Standing up nice and tall. Use the exhale, swing your leg back, open in the hip. The right fingers finds the floor, looking over the shoulder, and then taking your left arm up. Keep rotating hip to ceiling. Full inhale. Exhale, left leg to the left side of the studio. Inhale, take it back. Bend into the knee. Find your ankle. And kick back, thinking of getting the knee higher. Letting go of the ankle. Straighten the leg. Square off in the hips as you place hands back onto the waist. Bring the leg through and out in front. Exhale. Bring your leg down. You can shake it out. Part your feet mat width. Hinge in the hips. Exhale into a forward bend. Grip hold of your triceps. You can move from side to side. Releasing hands onto the mat. bend into the knees, sort of step the knees casually back or the legs back, walk the feet together. Two options. Option one, the more difficult option, keeping arms straight, going for Bakasana. Alternatively, you can bend into the knees and bend into the arms to get into your crow pose. I'm going to do straight arms. You can bend into the arms if you have to. Pitching knees into the armpits, keeping arms straight or bent. Take it up. Keep the breath strong. You can step the feet back or jump back. Inhale to up dog. Exhale into a downward facing dog. Now you can finally bring your knees onto the mat, sitting back into a comfortable child's pose. From the child's pose, you can make your way back up, straighten your legs, and we do one final plank hold. Completely static, not moving legs or anything, just a hold. After this plank hold, we will do a few stretches. Keep your breath deep. And take your hips up into a downward facing dog. Over on the down dog, use an inhale to raise your right leg. Exhale, step right foot in between hands. Slide your fingers back. Use an inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, work your chest closer to your thigh. Keep your legs straight. If you want to reposition the hands there, you can. And bending into the front knee. Position your hands to the front end of the mat. Step it back. Lower down chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, position left foot between hands. Start to straighten the front leg. You can reposition hands below the shoulders to get length in your back. But on the exhale, turn it into a forward bend. And move your hands to wherever you find is comfortable. You can bend into the front knee, position the hands back, stepping back, and final vinyasa, low down chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to down dog. Bending your knees, look up. Use the inhale to step or jump to a seated position. And then take your legs out in front. So the legs being straight, position your hands slightly behind the shoulders, fingers pointing forwards, point with the feet. Inhale, take your hips up, head back. Exhale, slowly lower down, flexing your feet. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, leaning forwards with chest and chin. Find the outsides of the feet. You can do a halfway lift on an in-breath. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Step your feet in, flex your feet, grip hold onto the outsides of the feet, find your balance, get onto the sit bones, and then take your legs up to ceiling. Flat back. Start to bend into your knees. Find the big toes. Take a full deep in-breath, lengthening your spine. Exhale, take the legs out to the sides and hold. Your focal point is slightly up. You have the option of holding onto the toes as you drop down forwards, or let go and then bring it down. If you want to drop all the way down, you can take it into a forward bend. If you don't want to drop all the way down, like you do in your traditional primary series of Ashtanga, you simply let go of the big toes and you meet me in the slight modified Bhavista Konasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let go of the toes. You can bring your legs back and slowly curl down onto the mat. An important thing to do in corpse pose would be to firstly allow the breath to be absolutely natural, and secondly, scanning the body, making sure you're not holding any tension. So allow the feet to flop out to the sides, the fingers to curl in naturally. You have length in the back of your neck. And as you close your eyes, just allow the body to cool down to its natural state. You are welcome to stay in your corpse pose for as long as you want.